Hello and welcome to Whiskey Whims with Santa and one of his beautiful reindeer. Welcome to Whiskey Whims with me, Stuart, and also Jura's joining in for a bit because he won't leave me alone. So today I wanted to go through 10 whiskies that would be great to give as a gift at Christmas time, or even to share with friends and family at Christmas time. These whiskies can be for people who are right into whiskey, or even for people who are just starting their whiskey journey. If you like the content, like the video, please do subscribe, hit like button for Jura, all the likes you can get will help, and also if you've got any feedback, please do leave it in the comments. So these 10 whiskies I've compiled together with the help of people on social media and also just kind of asking people in general about them. They're not overly expensive. I've tried to keep them all under £100, and you might notice a theme going on with a few of them, as a lot of them tend to be sherried whiskies. And the only reason this is because they are great at this time of year when it's cold, and the sherried flavour profile gives out that rum, raisin, Christmas cake, and that's just what you want at this time of year. So I'm not going to go from highest to lowest regarding the whiskey and my preference. I'm just going to go through 10 of them and describe a little bit about them and why they're on the list. So the first one I've got here is Buist Abouna. It's round about £50 to £65, and this one's batch number 57. The batches always vary, however the flavour profiles for the Abouna they do vary slightly, but they tend to be quite similar. The only issue with this whiskey is it's 60.7%, so that's a high ABV. I believe it's cask strength. Yeah, cask strength. It's matured in sherry Oloroso sherry butts, so you're going to get some of those nice dried fruit, raisins, kind of dates. You're going to get those flavours from this. However, it might be suited towards someone who's more experienced in whiskey, who's used to whiskey. Because if you give this to someone who's just getting introduced to whiskey, it might blow their socks off with the ABV. I would recommend it with some water. Water does help it go a long way. It brings the ABV down and opens up some more flavour profiles for you. But this is a real, treat, and I've been slowly getting my way through it. And for £65, £70, you can't really complain at that, especially with how much whiskey you're getting for your buck. That full 60.7 cask strength. So yeah, that's the first one I'd recommend. Next is Toal Barden 500. 500 refers to the size of cask used, 500 litres, and it's sherry finished. It's 43%, so unlike the Buist Abouna, it's more suited for someone just getting introduced to whiskey. It's a supermarket whiskey. You can pick it up in the likes of Asda, Tesco's, the Cooperative, anywhere like that you can tend to pick this up. Round about £30 to £40. I enjoy this whiskey. It's a great example of a sherried whiskey from Toal Barden, and I've never had a bad Toal Barden whiskey. I think they always produce some good whiskies. It's a good whiskey for Christmas. I don't think you can go wrong with this. The sherry is quite a common flavour. It's quite a hard one to get wrong unless it's too sweet or sickly. But this kind of hits the nail on the head, and definitely good for introducing people into whiskey. Next on my list is the whiskey that always comes up on any of my lists, especially when talking about good whiskies. It's the Ardbeg 10-year-old, 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, most likely not got any added colouring, but it doesn't state, and you can pick this up for about £35 to £45 as well. And it's also from the supermarkets, so it's quite an accessible whiskey. Issue with this is you have to know if the person that you are buying for or treating to or bringing this round to their house or whatever likes peat. It's hard to determine whether people like peat from just looking at them, so the best thing to do is ask. Ask if someone likes peat. They're not going to say all of a sudden, if you say, oh, do you like peat? They're going to go, oh, you're getting me the Ardbeg 10. It's just a kind of It's a general question really, so they're not going to guess what you're getting them, but you're best to know first, because if they don't like peat, they're not going to like this whisky. It's a peated whisky, but it's a great example of a peated whisky. It's cheap, affordable, it's got an age statement on there, so it's an all-rounder. 3 down, and the fourth one I've got here is Shelley Bomb by Smokehead. Another sherried whisky, however it's got a slight twist on it, as this has been influenced by peat. So once again, you'll need to ask or query if the person enjoys peat. The exception with this one is it's not too peated. The sherry flavours dominate at certain stages, and the peat comes through slowly and subtly. So it's 48% ABV, it's not got an age, and I enjoy this whisky at Christmas time. It's a real heart warmer, and the flavours you get from it remind me exactly of Christmas. 65 to 75 pound, a little bit more than I'd like to pay for what it is, but the fact that I do enjoy it, I was happy to pay for it. The only issue, like I said, is non-age statement. It doesn't say whether it's been chill filtered or added colouring, so we have to assume it's been chill filtered and it's got added colouring. So it's a little bit more expensive for what you're paying, but like I said, a nice whisky. Tomatin, 2006, finished in French white oak, I believe. French oak, finished in French oak. 12-year-old, bottled in 2019, sorry, and distilled in 2006. 12-year-old, 46% ABV. It doesn't state about the colouring or the chill filtration, and it's, I think, about £70 you pick this up for. The main reason this is on the list is definitely the taste. I've had this a few times, not this bottle specifically, this is still unopened, but I've had it a few times, and there is something really intriguing about this whisky. And I'd say this is more aimed towards maybe someone who's been into whisky for a little while, because the flavours in there can be hard to pick out, but when they are picked out, they're a lot more rewarding. So maybe not aimed for a beginner whisky drinker, but even so, you could still give this to a beginner whisky and they'd still enjoy it. Another positive about this is the presentation. £70, 12-year-old. It's a lot for a 12-year-old, but the presentation's lovely and the whisky itself is enjoyable, so there's no issue there with the price. But yeah, it's like, this would be good to open up on Christmas Day. Just the look of it, and like I said, the presentation, it's elegant. Next on the list is a whisky I don't actually own, but I've tried it several times and can guarantee it's a outstanding whisky. Is the Glenrothes 105. I believe you can pick this up for about £30 to £45, and once again it's a sherry, it's non-age statement, but it's a typical Christmas whisky. With most of these whiskies that I'm showing, the sherry flavours, they've all got a nice Christmas theme about them, so it's definitely a good whisky to have at Christmas time. Next on my list is the Glenrothes Allardyce 18-year-old. This is probably the most expensive whisky on my list. I've found it between £80 and £95. It's an 18-year-old. You're getting, it's what we're having to pay now for these type of age statements. It's done in Oloroso sherry casks. It doesn't say if it's finished or no, it's matured, so it's aged in the cask for the full 18 years, because it does say matured in the Oloroso casks. Non-chill filtered, natural colouring, and you've got, I mean, look at that colour, look how rich that is. 46% ABV, so it ticks all the right boxes for me, and I've drunk a lot of this. I don't want to finish it because I think it's that good a whisky. Specifically, the flavours in this are Christmas cake, that spiced rum, raisins, all those good Oloroso sweet, kind of almost on the verge of sickly, but not too sickly flavours that you get. Nice sticky toffee, caramel. There's loads of good flavours in this, and one of my favourite whiskies that I've bought this year. Another whisky I don't have is Coone Leash 14-year-old. This is almost like a staple of whisky bottlings or whisky in general. It seems to be everybody who loves or enjoys whisky always enjoys this Coone Leash 14-year-old. It's just one of those whiskies. I've tried it 2 or 3 times and I can't disagree with the fact that it's an amazing whisky. 30 to 45 pound. I don't know why I've not got one in my collection yet, but maybe that's a little hint for someone to get me one at Christmas. But yeah, a real nice whisky. It'll be loved by beginner whisky drinkers and also experienced whisky drinkers. It's a delicate, fruity and an overall winner of a whisky. Next on my list is Tamdhu 15-year-old. This is comparable to the Glenrothes 18 in my eyes, but not as good. However, in its own rights, it's still a great whisky. Once again, another sherried whisky, 15-year-old, natural colour, and it's bottled at 46% ABV. This would be great for a beginner whisky, and I'm sure someone more experienced will love it too. Did I say the price? 75 to 85 pound, which is a little bit of a contrast to the Glenrothes 18, because you've got 3 more years on that, and you can pick it up for 80 pound as well. I think I picked this up for 70 pound. I don't regret it. It's still a lovely whisky. Once again, those sherry flavours, but I don't feel it's as well balanced as the Glenrothes 18. And I probably shouldn't be comparing it because it sounds like I'm trying to put you off this whisky, but trust me, I'm not. It's a great whisky on its own. When you don't compare it to other things, it is a great whisky. And I'm quite bad for that. It's one of my flaws. I always compare whiskies to other whiskies, even though I've got no right doing that. But yeah, this is a superb whisky, and the presentation as well, lovely, great presentation. I love the new Tamdhu bottlings, and it's natural colour. Doesn't say whether it's been chill filtered. I assume it has been, but that you've still got that deep sherry colour from the casks. And last but not least on my list is a Campbeltown. Of course, I couldn't leave out a Campbeltown. But which one is it? Is it Springbank? Is it Longrow? Is it Hazelburn? No, it's none of them. It is Glen Scotia Double Barrel. Or is it Double Cask? Glen Scotia Double Cask. I've not opened mine yet, just never got around to it. I've had this several times, different pubs, around at friends' house. It says in the bottle it's rich and spicy. There is a spiciness to it. I don't know about rich, it's still a lot of flavours in there. It's not age statement, 46% ABV. It's done in American oak and Pedro Jimenez casks. So once again, raisins, kind of rum, spiced rum, all those good flavours. It's non-chill filtered. It doesn't say about the colouring, so we'd have to assume it's got colouring, but I don't think it has got colouring. It's not that horribly coloured in the sense of caramel E150A. But yeah, a great whisky. You can pick this up for 35 to 40 pound. It usually comes in a box, but I bin my box. I don't really need the box. After all, it's all about the juice. For me, I would give this to a beginner of whisky. Someone who's maybe transitioning from blends to single malts. That's always a good, I feel like this is a good transition whisky, a good gateway whisky to single malts. It's soft. It's not too complex that it'll throw you off, try to pick out all the flavours. There's just enough going on to keep you interested. So that was my 10 whiskies to give to I'm not even sure what I'm going to call this video yet. 10 whiskies to give to a friend or family at Christmas time. I hope this has given you some idea of what to buy someone, because I always find Christmas can be a hard time of year, especially when choosing whiskies for someone, because there's so many whiskies, there's such a variety, it's vast, it's always expanding, ongoing, and it's sometimes daunting trying to pick a whisky for someone, and you don't want to get it wrong. I'd say my advice would be ask them what they like, what flavours they like. If they like sherry, this video is probably not going to be the best because these are predominantly sherry. But yeah, ask them what kind of flavour profiles they like. If they like a fruity, floral, soft one, then go for Speyside. If they like peat, big punchy peat whiskies, medicinal notes, then go for an Islay. So things like that, just make sure you ask them what they like, and then you're always going to be onto a winner. I don't think you can go wrong, or go too wrong anyway. So once again, thanks for watching. I've been Stuart, this has been Whisky Whims.